Good morning, Zio here. And before we get started, I just wanted to go over a few things. One, if you haven't already, you should subscribe to the channel. Two, if you haven't followed me on TikTok or Twitter, Twitter, you should probably go do that too. And or it doesn't matter, both, one, doesn't matter. Anyway, three, if you ever wanted to support the channel, you can do that now, utilizing Ko-Fi. Links are down below. So with all that, grab yourself some coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get into it, shall we? Good morning. Today we're talking Xbox, Microsoft, cross-platform banning, and why it's suddenly a topic of discussion. So grab yourself some coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get into it, shall we? That's right, you get to watch me take that sip. Anyway, so yeah, apparently Phil Spencer has issued his statements on cross-platforming banning, right? Cross-platform banning. So the question is, let's start with why this is a topic of discussion. Last week we talked about Xbox, specifically Halo, right? The cheating that is going on, the hacking, that sort of thing, and people wanting to be able to toggle whether or not they can play with PC players and non-PC players. And unfortunately, this is a problem that, needs to be addressed, the hacking anyway. And cheating and stuff when it comes to that sort of thing. That is something that needs to be addressed. However, I don't think this is how to go about doing it for various reasons. Anyway, Spencer was apparently talking to the New York Times and said that something I would love us to be able to do, this is a hard one as an industry, is when somebody gets banned in one of our networks, is there a way for us to ban them across other networks? And, when I first read this, I was thinking it already exists, right? I mean, Activision already does it, for crying out loud. Which, of course, also gets talked about right here, right? Activision's Call of Duty game says a multi-platform ban strategy. Players found to be cheating or taking part in other bad behaviors have their Activision account banned across platforms, even those they never played on. Now, if you read that and don't quite understand what they're talking about, is in order to play things like Call of Duty Warzone and stuff, you have to create an Activision account, right? An Activision account is separate from your standard, say, Xbox Live account or PlayStation account, Nintendo account, that sort of thing. They're a completely separate account because whenever you log into the game, you have to actually come up and anyway, log into it, right? Like, the reason why I can't actually play Warzone, for one, is I don't have it on console, and I'm not going to play it on console. I will play it on my PC. But the thing is, I was able to make an Activision account, but then Blizzard, for some reason, requires me to make a separate authentication check utilizing my cell phone in order to get in. And every time I would put my number in, they're like, this is not a valid phone number that we can do a thing for. Meanwhile, Activision has you do the exact same thing to actually get into the game or to create an account. I think that is dumb. Anyway, that's it. That's why I can't play Warzone on PC. Blizzard's an idiot. Anyway, the point is, you get a separate account. And this happens with a lot of different games, right? Maybe not more of the... maybe not the mainstream games, but if you download a lot of other games that are not exactly completely recognizable by other people, they'll have you make an account, whether it's a Zynga account or, an Activision account in this thing, or an account with some other company. They'll have you make an account so you can sign in through that. So in a sense, what's going on is you have to have a Steam account, for instance, to actually access the game, download the game, buy the game, and then they want you to sign in with a separate account in order to actually make an account to play said game. So if you take that second account, of course, and you get banned on that account, for example, we'll use Activision, no matter what you try to log in under, whether it's the PC, the Xbox, or the PlayStation, the second it has you log into your Activision account, it will go, sorry, but you've been banned. You can't log in. Therefore, you can't play. So this system already exists, which is why I'm kind of confused by this, because, they're like, if you get banned on Xbox, you should, it already exists, right? Anyway, the thing to make it happen exists. So he continues to say that he would like it if players could bring their banned user lists, which honestly isn't that bad of an idea. Now, when I hear banned user list, I'm not exactly sure what he's referring to, because as far as I'm aware, you really can't, as a player, ban a user, right? Now, you can blacklist them so you don't play with them or hear from them, right? Final Fantasy XIV has this functionality where you can have a blacklist, and essentially you add somebody to the blacklist because they've been spamming chat for, whatever it is, and you never hear from them again, right? No matter what they say, you're never going to hear from them unless they make a new account and then do it that way. So, being able to take that list from system to system, from game to game, would be great. However, here's the problem. People may not have the same screen name, right? My names across all my accounts is some variation of Zeo Gaming, right? Or Zeo. And, it's one thing if I have the same name for everything that I do. Banning that name across all platforms would be great. But what if I didn't, right? What if I had a username here and then a different username over here and a different variation of that username there? Especially, definitely with mine, like I said, I use a variation of my actual name across all platforms. It may not exactly be the same thing. That's the problem right there. You would have to make somebody you would have to get the companies together, right? And they would have to make a singular system that they all have everybody log into, whether you're playing Sony, whether you're playing Activision, whether you're playing a Microsoft only title, or whatever it is. They would all have to be logged into the same system that everybody is using, kind of deal. And then that way, no matter what you're playing in, if your name is, for instance, Zeo, it will be Zeo, right? No matter what game you're playing, whether it's Halo, Call of Duty, Final Fantasy, doesn't matter, same name or login credentials, right? Yeah, anyway, they would have to come together to do something like that. But here's also the other issue with that. They can't force you to pay for it, right? Otherwise, people probably aren't going to use it, right? It's going to hit a big dent in their bottom line if they say, oh, by the way, in order to use this service, you've got to pay $15.99. Oh, and you have to use this service, right, in order to log into anything from now on. People are not going to take that very well, right? Nobody's going to like that at all. Especially since it doesn't really do anything for the person. Now, they are probably going to tack it into some kind of network of social something another, so it's going to be similar to like a Facebook or something, is what they will disguise it as, right? So they're like, link all your socials and do all this other stuff. Another thing that also, they could technically do is the fact that a lot of these things, like it when you link multiple socials together. For instance, Discord, you can link your YouTube, your Twitter, things like that to that account. Or, Steam. You can link those to your account so they know which accounts are being used and which ones are used. So if, Steam bans you for some reason from using Steam, they can go, okay, here's your YouTube, here's your other thing, because you've already given us that information. We're going to send a notification out to them, go, hey, look, we got a bad actor, we're going to ban you. Which, of course, is another whole thing that I really, really hate this idea of, is being monitored on a separate, completely social media by another social media and then being banned for something you may have said or done on the other social when it wasn't actually a violation of the TOS on their social. Gosh, I really hate this stuff. Anyway, But he continues to say, I'd love it to be able to bring them to other networks where I play. So this is a group of people that I choose not to play with because I don't want to have to recreate that in every platform that I play video games on. And that's the thing. I don't understand what he's coming from, because this sounds like somebody saying a thing but doesn't actually know what they're talking about, right? They go, well, I've got this mute list or this blacklist here, but I don't want to have to translate that every time I go to PlayStation or something and play a game over there, because you can't, right? Like we were just saying, different platforms, different names. You may not have everything linked to one email. You may not have everything linked to this, that, and the other. You can't actually do that. Just because Demon Slayer 329 called you a bad word over here while playing Call of Duty, and you decide to go pick up Halo on the Xbox when you were playing on PlayStation this whole time, you can't just add Demon Slayer 329 to your mute list. Demon Slayer 329 may be a completely different person on that platform. So yeah, good luck with that. But anyway, this whole thing is really dumb. In my opinion, of course, I don't understand. And to be totally honest, a lot of the arguments that Phil Spencer has made feels like one of those rich kid arguments, because like, how many people actually own separate systems to play the same game? Like, I can understand that you buy the Nintendo to play, things like Super Smash Brothers and, the new Mario games and things like that. But are you actually going to go out of your way to buy or download or purchase Call of Duty on the Switch when you have a perfectly good Xbox sitting there, or PlayStation, who can also play it better? No, I would say that most normal people, I mean, there are always exceptions to the rules, right? But no, most normal people aren't going to do that. Most normal people don't buy multiple copies of the same game across multiple platforms unless it is an older title or something, right? Like, that's why the virtual networks always, or virtual networks, the virtual store, gosh, what the hell are they called again? Anyway, the emulation that they do when they have, their new system come out. So you get the Wii shop, the Switch shop, whatever it is, and you can download The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past again, or Majora's Mask, or something like that. And then you've got multiple copies of that because, they keep selling you the same game because you can't bring it from the previous system. It's like you already bought it on the Wii, but you can't now take it and move it to the Switch, right? You have to repurchase it in order to have it on the Switch or something. And, outside of doing that sort of thing, because that's like the only copies of games that I actually own multiple copies for. Like, Skyrim has come out on everything, therefore I own several Skyrim copies at this point, because it's a great game. I love that game. Most people love that game. And yes, they're going to buy the new edition, even though they don't need to. They're still going to do it for a variety of reasons. Chrono Trigger, it's on the PS1. It was re-released for the PlayStation with extras. It was re-released for the DS with extras. It's got a really bad PC port that needs to just be shoved back to wherever it came from and forgotten about because they won't fix it, right? But rebuying those sort of things I can understand, but purchasing Call of Duty, for the Xbox, the newest Call of Duty, and then repurchasing it for your PlayStation, because I don't see that happening, to be totally honest with most normal people. If you do own multiple systems, generally there's another reason for you owning that system. Either A, you're a collector, like myself. B, there is, something specific that is only on that system, right? Because exclusivities are still a thing. Maybe you really, really, really have to have that exclusive that's on PlayStation. You're a huge fan of the franchise and you love it and you've got to have it. So you buy the PlayStation. That was the only reason I even got a PS4. It's because I knew eventually they planned to remake Final Fantasy VII, right? And I already had thought, I'm going to have to get a PlayStation. So I swapped from the 360 to the PlayStations, just for that reason. And then I found out they were actually going to do a PC port and all this other stuff. And to be totally honest, I'd rather be on Xbox. Xbox is by far the superior console to PlayStation, regardless of how many exclusives. You guys can, go to war about that in the comments. But anyway, yeah, it's just felt like a downgrade ever since I've gone to PlayStation, to be totally honest. But yeah, outside of doing that, I don't see people buying multiple consoles to play the exact same game. Now, doesn't mean it doesn't happen, of course, and sometimes you upgrade, like you've always been on the console, you finally got a gaming PC, and then go, oh, I could do this on the PC as well. That happens too, as well. And, Final Fantasy 14, I think, might be the only exception to that, where, part of the time you may have access to the PC, another part of the time you may only access to the console, and the game is available on both. So, I can see people who buy it on both consoles that way. But outside of that, I don't think normal people do that sort of thing. So, the other argument, of course, with this, because I keep ranting about other stuff, is it's free, right? The reason this thing came about, of course, is because of Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite decided they were going to launch their multiplayer free of charge and then charge you things for battle passes and crap like that, just to get your cosmetics, because no longer can you play the game to get the cool cosmetics or anything. And when they get banned, they just make a new account, because to these people, the cosmetics are cool, but they're not the be-all means of anything. They don't have to have that really cool, flaming helmet or whatnot, because they're just there to own the noobs with their hacks, with cheating and stuff like that, right? That's their only reason there. They're there to have fun, pwning people with additional assistance from, another program, because they're unable to play the game at the rate of anyone else because they suck so bad at it. Yeah, I'm sorry, if you hack at the game, a multiplayer game to win, there's a good chance you just really suck at the game. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's just facts of life there. But yeah, you go, they find out, they ban you. And then you just go make a new account, because there's no monetary value being exchanged. That's why a lot of things like World of Warcraft and other MMOs don't have this huge problem with this. Not only is most of everything on the back end on the server side, with the exception of, say, what was it, New World? That's a whole other topic. But a lot of these more notable MMOs that have been around for a good hot minute, right? A lot of their stuff is server side, so it prevents things like hacking and things. A lot of the stuff is not on the client side. So it's, for one, a lot harder to hack and do things with that. Not completely impossible, mind you. But when they do find it and they ban you, you then have to rebuy full price the game, right? So that's another hurdle when it comes to preventing things like this. If Halo did not launch free multiplayer and actually put it together with the game and forced you to pay the price, the $60 game tag or whatever it is, $70, I don't know at this point, there would probably be a lot less hacking involved, because once you ban these people, they're going to have to then repurchase the game and make a new account that way in order to actually get back in it. And the monetary value does put a good dent into who is hacking and who isn't. Now, it doesn't completely put a dent to who's farming when it comes to, bots and things like that, because they're making money from another way. So if they do get an account ban, they can easily just pay for another thing because they've been selling gold or whatever for IRL money. That's a completely different thing, of course. But, to stop the hackers and things, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's all I've got on that. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will talk to you later. See ya! Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.